is the kind of conversation that we're pushing for. Ang open data po is a movement around the world that seeks to make information three things: freely used, freely reused, and freely redistributed. We want data, information to be open to all possible users so that it's interoperable, meaning kung kumuha po kayo ng datos galing sa PSA o kumuha kayo ng budget data galing government, pwede nyo po ikot-ikotin, naka-Excel format. But the kinds of data that we were buying when we were younger is now so open. And we also have platforms like the Freedom of Information portal na pwede kang mag-request diretso kung ano yung kailangan mong, kung ano mismo yung kailangan mo. There are improvements throughout the past 10 years. Sobrang bilis niya to open up data. So the open data movement wants availability and access, reuse and redistribution, and universal participation. Everyone then, in a context of democracy, in a context of citizenship, everyone can and should be able to access it in this way. It's the movement of open data in the Philippines, and we have pushed so much out. Pero doon po tayo ngayon ang usapan. With all the moves to push data out, what happens to the data now that is available to everyone? Now, there is a concept in this entire movement called the presence of the infomediaries. The infomediaries, pag tinayip niyo siya sa word, hindi siya actual word, but it's a concept, that these are the mediators of information. These are the groups that gather the data, translate it into knowledge products, and make it available as journals, reports, research, advocacy material, etc. to different constituencies. So, an infomediaries can be two-pronged. Sila yung content producers. Katulad here, we have here ang mga represented po tayo ng Gaidon, ng Matanglawi, ng Varsitarian, campus journalists. And we also are expecting the libraries as the infomediaries repository of research. Na para po sa amin, supposedly, ng mga think tanks, mga academics, di ba? Naglatid si Nalea, kasi naman from Asian College, those that are facilitating the generation of research. However, it's easier said than done. Ano po ba? There are still so many barriers in terms of what we experience in making our research, our knowledge produced, available to all. So open research is expressed in two areas. This is the SPARC o SPARC. Nakasama po sa funders natin. Two areas po yung usapin. Una po is open access. Open access, if I may read, is the free immediate online availability of research articles, the research products, with the rights to use these articles fully in a digital environment. Why? What's happening right now po is that when we access journals, when we access reports, more common than not, we have to pay. So in order for us to go open access, so that we can produce more, make available to more, where are we in the Philippines, and what can we recommend moving forward? The other one po is open education. Ito naman po ang usapin na educational materials are still stuck in the analog point of view. Kasama dito yung the first conversation that we're having earlier, why are you still printing? Diba? There is a demand to re-evaluate the presence of printed materials, especially materials that are solely distributed through print. And it's not made available in a digital platform and a digital format that is accessible to all. What is stopping us in terms of our mental models, in terms of policy, in terms of practical considerations from opening up our materials, our resources, tools, and practices to a general public? Sabi dito, open education encompasses resources, tools, and practices that are free of legal, financial, and technical barriers and can be fully used, shared, and adapted in the digital environment. Open education maximizes the power of the internet to make education more affordable, accessible, and effective. Ayan. So yun po yung dalawang usapin that is put on the table as we push the movement of open data in the Philippines.
I am Miguel Mora, Secretary from University.
Hi, I'm Arthur Mariano. I'm the representative of University Library of the University of the Philippines.
My name is Paul. I'm a fellow.
I'm Zack. I'm the Linking Learning and Communications Officer of Voice. Grant program siya between Oxford and
I'm Professor Rizal. I am the Research and Development Consultant, Research and Development Officer of Asian College, KSMC.
Hello, I'm Leila. I'm a Research Associate for TD.
Hi, I'm Yusuf Ledesma. I'm the convener of the Philippine Center for Islamic Democracy and also from Action for Economic Reforms.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mushi from the Presidential Communications Operations Office, Freedom of Information, Project Management Office.
Hi, I'm Bangamata from AC. Sige po niyan po, Architect AC.
I'm Totanes, Rizal Library at the Academe University.
Pursuing open research and open access and open education, ano po yung pag-uusapan natin? First is, where are we now on open data? We're seeing earlier there have been so many strides, so much strides done. What challenges and opportunities remain on opening government data? At saka baka you're starting to open more than just government data. Let's see. Next, what are opportunities and challenges experienced by libraries as infomediaries to open research data and sources? How do we improve open access and open research practices in the Philippines so that information is not privileged to those who can pay or who can access, so that citizens can understand more and we can fulfill our role as content infomediaries in schools, in universities, in advocacies, in development work. How can we do this better? Okay po? Alright. So we designed this afternoon, this is very informal. We designed it to have 2 sharing sessions. Ang una po is government muna. The conversation will be moderated by Bon Moya.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Mushi, I'm Mushi from PCOO e-FOI team. And I'm the engagement lead of the Freedom of Information program, which requires government agencies to provide information upon request of citizens.
Good afternoon, JP Apunde po. Data Architect po ako sa DICT. So anything related to data, most likely I'll be part of the conversation. We're actually moving forward with defining a data architecture for government. And if given a chance later, I'll show you, we can discuss how it looks like, where all these types of data fits into the picture, and ano yung mga kailangan pa natin gawin moving forward. So we're also following several legal frameworks on the architecture's design. One is on the Data Privacy Act. We have the e-FOI. We have as well as yung open data policy. We also have the Anti-Red Tape Act for efficient, streamlined government processes. So all of those defined earlier, yun po yung ginagamit namin legal framework when dealing with data. So we'll be open for discussions.
Alright. Grocery. If you want grocery, there are 3 tests. The first one is the test of the provider. Saan at sino ang nagpo-provide ng grocery. Okay? So kailangan sagutin mo yun, which brings you to the next test, yung test of availability. May grocery ka ba? Wala namang watercress, wala namang kangkong, panay baka, wala namang isda. So that's the test of availability. And then the third test is the test of freshness. Sure, meron kang isda, bago ba yung isda mo? Right? So when we ask our panelists first, representing at least the data that they're responsible for, or at least the data that they know of, ano yung state ng government in those 3 aspects? The state of the question of the provider, and the proximity, right? Or how you can access it, the state of availability, and then the state of freshness or up-to-date.
So in terms of the FOI program in the executive branch, provider, definitely only the executive agency since it's just an EO. We have no bill yet. That's why this is also a call to everyone to demand for the passage of the bill. And as long as it's they're already on board the electronic FOI portal, if you can also show po. So you can access it via www.foi.gov.ph. The portal really follows a disclose to one, disclose to all policy in a sense that if you go to the tab po ng view requests, all requests, kahit yung pangalan, yung request po ni Zack from PSA, anyone can access that in the format na binigay sa kanila. Well, parang it's some sort of taking a step back on the open data technically. Kasi the FOI responds to citizens sa provision of information in the format that they want. We're not really particular with the formatter. So if you want it on a CSV file, an XLS file, then you can have it in that way as long as it's available sa government agency na yun.
Dati meron tayong data.gov.ph. Buhay pa ba?
Buhay every now and then.
Available, fresh. So buhay, available, fresh.
Before we focused on data.gov.ph, however, may umbrella project na po kasi sa DICT. This is the national government portal.
You mentioned SALEN earlier. Okay, and I can understand that there's certain data privacy issues. Pero, for example, you know, the government appointees, shouldn't their curriculum vitae or resumes be available? Can I ask for specific, you know, somebody's resume?
Are there mechanisms that ensure the capacity at the local level in terms of processing and saka making the data available? Kasi what I observe, okay yung data sa the national level eh. Pero yung local level, very nuanced kasi yung gamit ng data at the local. Yung national level data kasi very helpful sa researcher. Pero contextual background na lang siya, tsaka national advocacy siya. Pero pagdating sa local level, local advocacies, local community projects, ano yan eh, very nuanced yung data at the local level. So, pero ang problema nga, usually hindi siya available.
All of this is restricted only at the executive department. So what is the, let's say, DILG doing to at least influence LGUs to move towards this sort of actions? Kasi, again, lalo na for the groups that we support, a lot, yung sa kanila, it's all about the LGU, how do you use the budget, yung percentage sa dito, saan ginagamit, sa paano yung
yung mga contracts that the governments enter into. Kasi marami kaming cases na nakukuha na may government contracts, yung mga, let's say, land deals 200 hectares and above. Tapos biglang may eviction notice na lang dun sa communities. Tapos we don't have access to that contracts. How do we actually try to, alam mo yun, parang hindi naman, actually violation of human rights na yung ganung bagay. Another question, medyo related din actually, since nasa sector ako ng land, particularly for the rural poor farmers and indigenous peoples, medyo po. Ang nangyayari kasi, most of the land agencies, humingi sila ng fees to release data. So ang net effect niya actually is, may bayad, so the poor do not have access to the data on land. And because they don't have access to the data on land, nangyayari, at yung mga data ng land na to across, itong 3 agencies naman na to, mag-overlap lang lahat kasi separate yung databases. So nangyayari, the overlaps become causes of conflict.
It's a reality because we don't have an enabling law yet. Whatever frameworks that we have, very limited to the executive branch. So as far as here in City, we are encouraging local government units to be on board, get capacitated. But without that law, mukhang it will be a perennial problem. So the best thing that we can do at the national government agencies, get our acts right, so that whatever granular data is needed, if coming from national government, we can provide. That's the best that we can do without the law. The problem there is, even in other government agencies, within the department, kanya-kanya din ang datasets nila. Even these datasets don't talk to each other. So there's a governance role on the department side that they need to do. They have to agree that our system should be interoperable, should talk to each other. Whenever someone requests for data, we give them the accurate snapshot of what we have.
In terms po na engagement ng at least PCOO sa civil society, we've been actually parang every month we meet right now and other representative organizations. And yung mention ko nga kanina, the establishment of the FOI Advisory Committee, that's the perfect venue for the CSOs to air their concerns. Pero yun nga, it's only on the right to information and other policies related.
We do have plans of coming up with several exercises and activities. These are workshops, these are capacity building exercises, wherein we'll be consulting several participants on how they wish or how they would want to see their data sets whenever they request for it. So we have so many technological solutions, but as to the use of it in actual analysis, then we have to engage yung mga demand side. We have the supply, but we don't know exactly ano yung kakailanganin from us. So yes, we have plans, but for now, I cannot comment on when. Pero it will happen this year. So please, whenever we send for invites, please attend. Because at the end of the exercise, may mga opportunities for giving recommendations, as well as opening up another channel of discussion. Marami po mangyayari this year from the DICT side, so please participate.
Before I thank our panelists, I think we need to wrap up. And I'd really just like to make 4 points. Number 1, yung question dun sa government. Nung nasa labas ako ng government, we have this notion that there is this monolithic, singular concept called government. And I think I'm happy, and I think that I'm glad that there is an opportunity for you now to see another face of government. Ang second item na gusto kong sabihin is that we have to have evidence-based decisions and evidence-based declaration. So if I track the 3,000 FOI requests, right, versus the declaration that we need this and that, hindi yata nagmamatch. So ibig sabihin, we should require governments to listen. And for now, it seems like, although I'm not, it seems like some are listening. Now, the question is, are you speaking properly? Isa sa question kanina, hindi namin alam kung saan. Ngayon, sasagutin na namin, punta kayo doon sa e-FOI portal, try nyo to. So you have to speak, you have to promise to speak, they have to promise to listen. And then on the last point on participation, sino sa inyo dito nag-participate ng open data? Sino sa inyo dito ang nagbibigay ng data para may makinabang na iba? One example.
Yung mga research nila.
Na nakapublish, di ba? Check. Yung mga hindi nagtaas ng kamay, have you participated in such an activity? And that activity is not necessarily just the paper. Meron yung tinatawag ng knowledge economy. Sino nag-Uber at nag-Waze? Right? Every time you use Waze, you contribute information, private information where you are, that is then aggregated. And now there is a communal nature of where the areas ang traffic dahil nag-contribute kayo. So kung nag-contribute kayo ng data, on your whereabouts that provided a public good in terms of traffic, bakit yung mga researches na ginagawa nyo na mas valuable dapat kaysa doon sa data, we should then reconsider whether donating that will then provide a greater good.